Fran Tarkenton had plenty of quality targets heading into 1967. Though it would be his last season, number 85 Del Schaffner had 4 1,000 receiving yard seasons from 1958 through 1963. Bill Triplett only started one game in 1966 for the Cardinals. He played for them 4 years. Ernie Coy would have his only Pro Bowl season in 1967 after being a spot starter in 65 and 66. Main cog in the offensive machine is Fran Tarkenton, who is playing his first year as a Giant in 1967.
I think all quarterbacks are aware of the pressure of the defenses, and I think the defenses are getting better all the time now. My philosophy has always been if I have a rush and my linemen do break down occasionally, which all of them do break down sometimes, then I will try to get out of the pocket and move around and try to find an opening and a receiver downfield and still get something out of the play.
I think that Del Schaffner is the first receiver to have 3 and 4 1,000-yard receiving seasons. Number 45, Homer Jones, was aptly named because he was a home run hitter in a football sense. A speed burner, he was a 1,000-yard receiver in 1966. And he would do it again in 1967 and 1968 when he made the Pro Bowl in those seasons. He averaged an astounding 22.3 yards per catch during his 7-year NFL career. The 1967 Steelers pinned their hopes of success to their special teams and defense, but mainly their defense. The Steelers hadn't made the playoffs since 1947, and it would be another 6 years until they made it again. Cardinals' primary starting quarterback, Charlie Johnson, was in Uncle Sam's Army for the start of the 1967 season. Number 81, future Hall of Fame tight end Jackie Smith, made the Pro Bowl in 1966, and he would make it for the following 4 years. He would have his greatest season in 1967 with a career-high 56 catches, good for 1,205 yards, 9 touchdowns, and a huge 21.5 yards per catch. He took the baton from Mike Ditka and John Mackey as being the best tight end in the NFL. That's not too bad for a 10th round draft pick out of Northwestern State in Louisiana. Number 41, Tom Matte had a nose for the end zone. He'd lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns with 11 in 1969, but he couldn't get in against the Cardinals.
In our system, our weak side guy has some secondary calls that he has to make, and I get those made as quick as I can, and I'm like anybody else out there. I got a man to cover, and I try to do it.
Had a well-balanced offense in 1966. They were second in the NFL with an average of 28.8 points per game. And their defense was solid, as they were fifth with 18.5 points per game given up. In 1966, Leroy Kelly led the NFL with 16 rushing touchdowns, 16 total touchdowns, and an outstanding 5.5 yards per carry. In 1967 and 1968, he again led the NFL in rushing touchdowns, as well as rushing yards. Gary Collins deserved strong Hall of Fame consideration based upon his 70 receiving touchdowns, which was the 6th most all-time at the time of his retirement after the 1971 season. Take a look where Gary Collins lands. on the pitching mound that wasn't even leveled for the game. Incredible.
Someone has to be the aggressor. It may as well be the runner.
Jim Taylor's number is 31. His gain will be an aggressive 21.
You may break to the outside and to the opening, and you know that you can't get very much more yardage, but just take on that particular defender and drop that shoulder and make an aggressive play out of it, and in a sense try and punish the defender or the tackler, and you not take the worst of it.
1967 was the inaugural season of the Saints, who played their home games at Tulane Stadium. Future Hall of Famer and Packers legend Jim Taylor was picked up off the expansion list, as well as Bears star Doug Atkins. They drafted two wide receivers that would have terrific careers, Dan Abramowitz and John Gilliam. The Saints picked up quarterback Gary Cuozzo from the Colts off the expansion list. From the 49ers, they got Billy Kilmer. And from the Giants, they got Gary Wood. The Eagles acquired tight end superstar Mike Ditka from the Bears. He's number 98 for 1967 after being number 89 for the Bears for the past 6 years.
I think Mike Ditka is probably the toughest tight end right now in the league as far as blocking goes, because Mike is about 235, 6'2", 6'3", and he loves to play the game. He hits, and he hits to hurt. So he's tough. They don't call him Iron Mike for nothing.
I don't think too much in terms of little men at all. I like to feel that a good little man, I guess, is good if he's up against another good little man. But in terms of blocking or pass rushing against a little man, I like to feel that I'm far superior.
For his era, Bob Brown was a mountain of a man, playing near 300 pounds. Nicknamed Boomer, he played offensive tackle like a defensive tackle. Israel Lang was an 18th round draft choice out of Tennessee State in 1964, and he parlayed that into a 6-year NFL career. Lang was a hard-driving fullback, while Tom Woodeshick's sturdy 225-pound frame allowed him to play 10 years in the NFL. Number 41, Harry Wilson, was a third-round draft pick in 1967 out of Nebraska. Number 23, Harry Jones, was the Eagles' first-round draft pick in 1967 out of Arkansas. Number 18, Ben Hawkins, would have a breakout year in 1967, leading the NFL with 1,265 receiving yards. Sonny Jurgensen was a top-tier quarterback heading into 1967. And his tight end Jerry Smith was a sure-handed field stretcher. Future Hall of Fame flanker Bobby Mitchell had terrific speed and moves. Here Mad Dog Mike Curtis gives him a belt.
Very few teams are beaten by quarterbacks running the ball, but in most of the games where they are defeated, it's by a quarterback throwing the ball, and that's one reason I intend sticking to my specialty of throwing the forward pass.
Jim Nanowski played 9 years in the NFL before coming to Washington in 1967. Ray McDonald was the Redskins' first-round draft pick in 1967, and he was big, 6'4", 248 pounds, out of Idaho. John Love was a rookie in 1967 who would be called upon to perform kicking duties in 3 games. He made 2 of 7 attempts, all less than 40 yards. The main cog in the Redskins' passing game is Charlie Taylor, who could catch the long bomb. He was also terrific on short precision-type routes. No matter what he ran, he attracted attention wherever he was on the field. The name of the game for the Cowboys on offense is speed. The name of the game for the Cowboys on defense was power and tenacity. The Cowboys' running game featured underrated Don Perkins, who was lightning quick and ran with authority. He made the Pro Bowl the first 3 years and last 3 years of his 8-year NFL career. At the time of his retirement, he was 5th all-time in career rushing yards. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. Number 30, Dan Reeves, was the perfect complement to Perkins, as he was a cagey runner who excelled as a pass receiver, averaging a remarkable 13.1 yards per reception over his 8-year career. He was very capable on the option pass play, too, by completing 14 of 32 passes for 2 touchdowns and 370 yards. That's 26.4 yards per completion.
The Dallas Cowboy offense is one that has been said to be very complicated. A lot of us feel that it is in many ways. It's based on percentage and execution. We run a play because we feel that it has the best possible chance to work against this defense in a certain situation.
The Cowboys' explosive offense, which averaged 31.8 points per game in 1966, was number 1 in the NFL. It's the main reason that they're favored to win the championship in 1967.